Good evening. My name is Harry Fisher. I'm the chair of the BET. I'm calling to order the regular meeting Thursday, March 7th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. of the regular meeting of the Board of Estimate and Taxation. Would everybody please stand and pledge allegiance to the flag?
6:34 p.m.
6:34. Thank you. First, I want to note that PR2 should not really have made it onto the agenda because there was no release of condition or approval to use. The Budget Committee really took care of this on its own. So I would take a motion to adjust the agenda to remove PR2, moved by Steve Selps.
Second.
Second by Karen Vasiliotis. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. We don't have an assessor's report. The assessor was unable to make it this evening. So we'll move to request for budget adjustments. If I could have the report of Karen on the routine items, please.
Yes, the routine items are PR1, Parks and Rec, in the amount of $35,000, release of conditions for the pickleball courts. PW4, DPW, $1.2 million, release of conditions for the Cohen Eastern Greenwich Civic Center.
Okay, could I have a motion to approve those? Moved by Leslie Tarkington.
Second.
Second by Leslie Moriarty. Any objection to approving the routine items? Seeing none, that's a 12-0-0 vote. Thank you. Now we'll move on to the new non-routine application by the town clerk, please, or the, sorry.
I wish I were town clerk.
Board clerk.
At least I would get paid for it. Non-routine application PD3, police, in the amount of $650,000, additional appropriation for police overtime.
Could I have a motion, please?
I move we approve.
Motion by Leslie, second
Second.
by Leslie Moriarty. Police chief is here to speak to us at my request, so we get an informative session for the entire board. We heard a good amount at the Budget Committee, but I think a lot of us would benefit from an explanation of what's going on with the police department.
Sure. So, first of all, a unique circumstance.
Excuse me a second, Jim. I'm sorry. I went out of order here. We usually take committee reports first. Okay. So if I could have the report of the Budget Committee, please.
Yes, this was heard by the Budget Committee. Chief Hebe was present at that meeting along with the Deputy Chief. The Greenwich Police Department requested, as you pointed out, $650,000 to cover shortages in the department's overtime funds. They gave us detail about the patrol division. 10 officers were currently assigned to the police academy, 3 officers assigned to field training, 5 officers out on work-related long-term injury or other leave. In the detective department, 1 officer was on long-term work-related injury. The dispatch center, there were 4 open positions currently conducting testing process. And finally, in the animal control division, there's 1 open animal control position. Potential candidates going through hiring process and if hired will not be available for service until July 24. They told us that they would need $600,000 and that the additional $50,000 they were requesting is, I'll call it an abundance of caution, total of $650,000, and this was approved 4-0-0 by the Budget Committee.
Thank you, Leslie. Now we'll hear from the chief, please.
I think Leslie covered it. What I will tell you is that it's an unusual circumstance for us to be sitting where we are, although we did communicate our condition, months ago to our liaisons about our concern about making sure that we made budget. The unique circumstance is that we are, try to move this so it doesn't back. The unique circumstance is that we are at full strength. We are at full assigned strength, which is a good thing. But the bad thing is that our available strength is very low. As Leslie in her report mentioned, we have 12 officers in the academy, a number in training, a number out on other aspects, whether it's administrative leave or injury leave. we have 4 openings in dispatch center and animal control officer. So we just recognize that normally, when we have open positions, we're able to move the 100 amounts from regular payroll to overtime to cover all the open shifts. And with our current assigned strength, we just can't do that. We have, though, been working on it on a regular basis because we knew this might be an issue. So as of the last pay period, we've used 86.96% of our overtime budget, but we've only used 63.55% of our our regular salary lines. And this is what we monitor every week, really, so that we can try to fill the shortfalls. Additionally, we have approximately $94,925.55 of journal vouchers from DPW and Board of Ed and other town agencies that'll be coming back to us, and we counted that as money that we'll be able to use towards the overtime. And then our command leadership has been working every month trying to reduce the cost of the backfilling of patrol cars and the school security. So we started out in the beginning of the year with quite a bit of overtime in July, August, and September. Then October, again, it increased. But since November, when we, again, early on identified the problem, November, we reduced overtime by 20%, December 17%, January 34%, and February 33%. So we're using good resource management to try to reduce that financial liability. However, even with all of these cost-saving efforts, we're not going to be able to cover it. So again, it's an unusual circumstance, but it's a positive one. We also feel that come next year, we should be able to reduce our overtime costs because we'll have more available officers rather than more in the academy. We do have 2 officers that, of course, I am at full strength, and I will be until April 1st when Sean Fox, our Marine technician, retires. And we also had one of our technicians retire right with him. So I'll have 2 openings, but I have 2 candidates waiting to attend the academy. They're going to attend the Stanford Police Academy in May. So we have that. And again, it's a positive thing. It's just that the timing of this is requiring us to ask for additional funds. So subject to your questions, I think that addresses most of the concern.
Does anybody have any questions? Nope. Hearing none. Thank you, Chief. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Any discussion? Appears not. So I don't think we need a roll call vote on this. I think, is there any objection to approving PD3? Seeing none, this is a 12-0-0 approval. We're all set. Thank you. Pete and I discussed that we're so soon after the last meeting, we would not have a controller's report. The treasurer's report is too close to the end of the month. And I don't believe we've got any building committee reports.
Did we get an update on Old Greenwich?
But I was just going to say, Steve gave us a written update on Old Greenwich. And I don't know if you have anything further beyond that, or you had mentioned when we might see numbers, so.
So, Mr. Chair, at the last meeting, I advised you that the building committee was on track to deliver a design development estimate by the middle of the month. That's still the case. The building committee will be presenting that number to the Board of Education next week, subject to the Board of Education meeting, but we expect that number will be available next week, as I indicated in my email. But I have nothing beyond that.
Okay. Just for everybody's information, which was in the email, that they've asked for a BOE meeting on the Thursday, the 14th. I actually haven't gotten that, forwarded it to Karen Kowalski and suggested that maybe instead of having a special different meeting of the BET for the building committee, that we consider having a joint meeting on the 14th. So if anybody has calendar conflicts for that date, if you could let me know as soon as possible, and we'll see what comes back.
I'm not available on the 14th.
You're not?
I'm also not here on the 14th, but if there is a Zoom option, then potentially that works.
Okay, thank you.
I would remind the chair that just at the end of the last term, we approved telephonic participation for members who had scheduling conflicts who were not.
That's right. So we could do that. We'll work to try to make this as easy as possible. Excuse me, and I'll communicate as much as I can. Does anybody else have any project team or liaison reports? Seeing none, we have the no old business, no new business. Approval of the meeting minutes for the February 26, 2024. I'll take a motion to approve, please. Who moved that? Scott, or I'm sorry, David? And a second, please? Second by Scott. Any objection to approving the minutes?
I just
Oh, sorry.
was a little late in reviewing them. I have nothing substantive. There are a couple of Scrivener's errors things. If I can forward those after the meeting,
Okay.
I can approve the minutes.
I think that's acceptable to the board. Any objection to approving the minutes with Leslie's Scrivener errors corrected? Seeing none, that's 1200. Yes,
David and Scott.
David and Scott. I don't have a chair report, except to remind everybody of our dates coming up with the public hearing on, I believe it's the 25th, and our decision days on the 27th and 28th. I'm sure everybody's got them locked on the calendars.
Harry, may I?
Go ahead, David.
I think there's a slight error in the agenda which says that the next meeting is going to be on Monday, April 14th. It should have been April 15th, just as correction.
That's correct. Okay, any other business? Any other? Take a motion to adjourn, please. So moved by Steve. Second by David. Without objection, we're adjourned at 6:46. 12 minutes.
Could have been earlier.